So just as always, let yourself settle wherever you're sitting or lying, and see if you can gently invite a softening of the body and a softening of the mind. Just, if you can, gently releasing any tension. Not instructing it, not forcing it, but just a gentle invitation. A kind approach. The act of befriending yourself in the here and now. And in that open state, just seeing if you can soften, gently relaxing body and mind. And just take a moment at the start of the practice to acknowledge the significance of you taking the time to be here, to care for yourself, to dedicate time to yourself. And just gently taking a breath and feeling the journey of the year that we've taken. And checking in what thoughts that brings to mind. And not looking for the thoughts to be any way in particular. Not looking for thoughts to be happy and positive. But just accepting whatever thoughts are there. Even if there are feelings of uncertainty or discomfort or even fear. We can't ignore our emotions indefinitely. So learning to allow them, learning to connect with them with kindness, with compassion, with a sense of curiosity. We'll allow them to soften too. Gently release the energy. And again, this evening will be slightly slower. I'll be pausing a little bit longer, just to allow you to explore the space in your own conscious experience. However that's felt in the moment. Whether that's with thoughts, but being aware of them. With emotions, just sitting with the felt experience and sensation of whatever emotions are present. Or even with any bodily sensations, pleasant or unpleasant, or simply somewhere in between. And seeing if you can honor your experience, however you find it, with a sense of curiosity and perhaps even wonder. So just bringing the focus gently to the breath now for me. And perhaps start this practice at the tip of the nose, feeling the cool air coming in and the warmer air as it leaves again. If it feels right to, just offering a gentle invitation with each breath, just to soften with every gentle out-breath. an invitation to release any tension in the body, if that's okay. See if you can become aware of the movement of the nostrils, of the change in pressure on the bridge of the nose as you inhale and exhale. Perhaps there's a change in felt experience in the cheekbones as you breathe. Not imagining the experience in any way, and not seeking for it to be any way other than which you find it right now. But bringing a curious and perhaps even childlike attention to the experience, as if each breath was the first breath you'd ever noticed. Now see if you can allow your attention to rest with the breath in the belly. And if you wish to, you may want to put a hand on the tummy. Simply feeling the raw physical sensations of the breath in the tummy. The gentle rising and falling. And perhaps you can feel the experience of the ribs as they move around, creating space. Perhaps you can feel change in pressure in the lower back, perhaps even into the hips. Looking for the experience to be any way in particular, but simply being open to whatever there is to experience. And if you find you've been distracted by thoughts, see what your initial reaction is to having caught yourself being distracted by thoughts. And just recognize that as a thought itself, an expression in consciousness. And if there's frustration at having been lost in thought or a sense that you failed, note that response and that reaction and then just let it go. Feeling the breath in the belly. And just observing the rate of the breath, fast or slow, deep or shallow. And note if there's any urge to change any of those elements, to make the breath slower or deeper perhaps. And if you find that intention, see if you can not judge it. Just allow that sense to be. Simply that, a sense. Now, if it's comfortable, see if you can bring your awareness of breath to the upper body, to the chest and the upper back and the shoulders. And see if you can focus your attention on the breath here, the experience of breathing in this part of the body. And if it is uncomfortable and you feel too much tension, then feel free to return your attention to either the nose or the tummy. But if it feels okay to hold awareness here, then just let it rest. The experience in the upper body as it breathes. Focusing curiously and kindly, as closely as you can without striving. Like a mirror reflecting the experience there to be found. And perhaps you're aware of the movement of the ribs, the shoulder blades, perhaps the armpits, perhaps not. What is the felt experience of the breath like here in the body? The raw energetic sensations, the change of pressure, the change of temperature perhaps. See if you can allow your awareness to settle here. See if you can allow yourself to realize that you're experiencing directly in this part of the body. Not needing to return to thought for validation, but actually perhaps feeling the felt experience of the upper body from the upper body, of the experience of breathing from the experience of breathing. Just take a moment to note how that feels. Pleasant or unpleasant, perhaps frustrating. And again, whatever you find, just seeing if you can accept it as best you can. There's no way this experience needs to be. And see now if you can allow your attention, your awareness to settle on the experience of the heart, near the center of your chest. And just feel the rhythm of the heart as it beats for you right now. And again, allowing as best you can your focus to move gently closer to the experience of the heart. feeling all of the sensations that are there to be felt. Noting whether any thoughts spring to mind. Noting whether there's any emotional content for this close awareness of the heart. And as best you can, just allowing yourself to rest, open, in this expansive awareness of the heart itself. Softening with the experience as best you can. See if it's true for you, but perhaps you can feel the experience of the heart, from the heart. There's no thinking of the experience, no imagining it. But actually the experience, the felt experience, comes from the heart itself. Just like the felt experience of the breath comes from the breath itself. See if you're able to rest here, in that open state of awareness, for a few minutes longer. Savouring the experience, however you find it. And so as we move into the last part of tonight's session, just allowing your awareness to settle however it wishes, open to whatever experiences it notices, sounds, physical sensations, thoughts or emotions. And I'm going to finish with a reading, a visit from St. Nicholas by Clement Clarke Moore. And with the reading, there's two choices I'd invite you to consider. Either follow the story in the words and the meaning that you identify, or use it as an opportunity to be mindful of the pure experience of sound and tone itself, letting the words dissolve into simple sound waves, simple energy. Visit from St. Nicholas by Clement Clarke Moore. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in the hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a lustre of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen. On Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky. So up to that housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowlful of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney, he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Thank you.